Today on First Cup, we've got some follow-ups from some stuff yesterday, questions about martial arts in the Matrix, and a bunch of other stuff. And who knows what else you guys bring live. So stick around. We roll in 15. Oh. Oh. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Wednesday. It is November 17th, 2021. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. That's very warm. All right. Well, how was your Tuesday? I recorded 4 podcast episodes, or I should say we recorded 4 podcast episodes because I wasn't the only one recording. Andrew was in on one of them. It was a good day. It was a good recording day. Really solid stuff. I got some work done in between. Not a ton, but there were some little things that I was able to do, like putting away laundry, right? Like nothing particularly special. Good morning, Dennis and Daniel and Jenny and whoever else is here watching live. Maybe you're watching later. Maybe you're listening later. Thank you to all of you for joining me for First Cup. You know, it's easy during the workday to get distracted, especially when you work from home. And it's really easy to get distracted when there are just 10,000 things that need to be done. Good morning, Kelly, including all the personal stuff that you let go. Like you might see my eyes drifting around. I'm looking at all these things. The way I run my life is I put things in piles. And right now I'm looking at about 15 piles of things that need to be dealt with. Everything to, stuff to do with my father's estate to, we've got to put that in frame. Those photos need to be scanned. Good morning, Liz. There's always stuff. There's always stuff to do. And so those gaps in between episodes, we schedule 90 minutes, and then there's a 30-minute break. But episodes usually don't go 90 minutes. We're usually somewhere with pre-post conversation, hour to an hour and 15. So I usually get 45 minutes to sometimes an hour to do other stuff in between. And yesterday I put away laundry and dishes and had lunch. Gasp. Good morning, Stacy. Have I got sorted and recorded with Tommy yet? No, not yet. But last I looked, it was scheduled. Normally we don't talk about that stuff on First Cup, but Tommy is a frequent attendee to First Cup, so I don't mind saying that. Yeah, that's coming. I saw that in the schedule yesterday as I was going through things. Oh. People think I do all that now. I don't. I still don't. Andrew does that. Somebody messaged me yesterday and, did you get a hold of so-and-so? I don't know. Maybe. I forwarded the email to Andrew. Oh. If all I did was whistlekick, if all I did was martial arts radio, I could handle all these things. But with all the programming and the editing and the show outreach and the social media and the graphics work and the website and dealing with YouTube, there are 5 of us who work on this. Yeah, this is not a small endeavor to make this work. What else did I do yesterday? I went to the gym. I dropped off some autograph books at the post office to mail out. I've got one more order. We're trying to figure out sizing for somebody. I'm looking at that piece of paper. Somebody placed an order. We got to figure some things out. Stacy says, you wouldn't sleep. It is true. I'm really lucky. I sleep well. But if I had to do all these things, yeah, I would not sleep well because I wouldn't sleep. It'd be like 6 hours a night tops. Oh, why are we yawning so much? I don't know. So what's today? Today's Wednesday. Client call, client call, client call. Actually, 2 are client calls. 1 is a prospective client. I'm looking forward to that. This would be an interesting person to work with. I don't know if it's a fit, but I'm hopeful because I like what she's doing. So we'll find out. So we got a call. And I'll do the books and fill in with about 40,000 other things. I did not plan this week well. Coming out of free training day and all the stuff that comes from that, coupled with yesterday being a recording day, coupled with I'm going training tomorrow. I'm going to Manchester to do Superfoot stuff with Terry. This is a nuts week, and the next week's a holiday week. So I have this big reminder on my calendar, no meetings, no new meetings until after Thanksgiving, which feels like forever, but it's really not. So that's what we're looking at. Daniel says the work from all of you does show in the quality of the show, the guests, the graphics, et cetera, so it is worth it. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's easy. So like a day like today on Wednesday, where I'm doing the financials and I look at the bills, which admittedly are not that large, but it still stacks up. And when you take the fact that Martial Arts Radio directly has, there's no revenue that comes from that show directly. We could consider Patreon part of that, but Patreon doesn't come close to covering the show when you add all the pieces together. But this is long-term stuff. I knew going in this was not short-term. This is long-term. And I got to be honest, those of you who were there this weekend know about the new thing. We're going to make a formal announcement about the new thing, about All In Weekend, coming up soon. Maybe by the end of the week. But we are going to have no problem selling that event out. Just based on how many people have purchased the last 2 days, it's crazy. And that's just with the people who came to free training day. So, yep. We're becoming an events company. I don't mind saying that. Not that we're going to stop doing the other things we do, but we're going to focus there for monetization because it seems to be working. Daniel says, I was about to ask what holiday. I forget Thanksgiving is a thing. Yeah. Thanksgiving, the celebration when you guys let us go and we were hungry. Daniel's from the UK. You don't know. He spells words wrong. Stacey, I got mine in. Yes, you did. It's an interesting mix of people. It's going to be a great weekend. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you really want to go read about it, it's on whistlekick.com. You can read about All In Weekend. But for those of you who would rather wait, you can wait, and we're going to make a formal announcement and kind of encapsulate the way I presented it at Free Training Day. Yeah. Dennis says, heck, at least of us on here this morning, at least some of us, how many? Yeah, there are a number of you on here this morning who are already signed up. Daniel, I spell words correctly. Don't blame me for your lazy spelling. We're not lazy because we don't like to put the letter U in where it doesn't need to be. Good morning, Eric. Liz is excited to go. Dennis says 3. Yeah, I count 3 as well. It's going to be a good time. So you guys left me some stuff. Let's start talking about the stuff. And Frank left a couple quotes. I want to start with these. Today is take a hike day. And if it was not cold and snowy and I was not busy, I would absolutely take a hike. I have not taken a hike for a while, and that makes me sad. I would go Sunday, but I'm traveling Saturday to get another load of stuff from my father's estate. And I have all this outdoor stuff I've got to do, like all the breaking down of garden beds and putting things away that now have snow on them. I got to do that. But soon, I will go for a hike soon. I miss hiking. Okay. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. Henry David Thoreau. There's something to be said for living with intention. Now, I don't think you have to live in the woods to live deliberately, as Thoreau said. You can live in a city, you can live in a town, suburbs, high rise, underground, as long as you are aware of and integrated into your surroundings. Now, I'm never going to do well living on the 40th floor, underground, or really even in the suburbs. I need trees. I need to live in the woods. I've tried to live elsewhere. It didn't work well. Because when we live deliberately, we break down that barrier between where we are and where our surroundings are, where other people are. We are part of the equation. And I think that I know that there's more than enough research to show how critical social interaction, being part of a social ecosystem, is to humanity. You may not think me living in the woods is part of a social ecosystem, but it is. Not in the same way necessarily as, I don't know, living in a city. This one's getting a little complex for my morning brain. Let's put it this way. Let me rephrase it to this. There are many, many things that are important to all of us, right? Including being in nature. We all need it in different amounts, but we all need it. And recognizing and finding a way to integrate it is important. There. That's where we'll end the early morning unpack of a Thoreau quote. Jetty says, we weren't too lazy to spell things correctly. We were too cheap. I enjoy this playfulness back and forth. And one more, and then I'm going to move on because we've got stuff today from Daniel and follow-up from Josh. Everything worthwhile is uphill. Everything. John Maxwell. My coffee doesn't taste very good. I'm not happy with it. Not sure why. Hiking is uphill literally. Everything else is uphill figuratively. Or martial arts training is worthwhile. That's not easy. That's definitely not downhill. It's never downhill. There's no point where it's downhill. If you're coasting, you're not getting better. I like this metaphor. It's so simple. Everything worthwhile is uphill. I say it a little bit differently. Nothing worth having is easy. Oh, but Jeremy, what about? If you really enjoy trying to poke holes in things, fine. But nothing worth having is easy. Good friendships. But air is worth having. It's easy. Done any research on air quality lately? See what I'm saying? It's not easy. All right. Time for a second cup. Yes. Yeah, we're about to pour a second cup. My throat was feeling a little scratchy. My temperature's fine, but the throat was feeling a little scratchy, so I didn't throw any cream in my coffee. I'm going to see if I shake this off. Hopefully throw some cream in my coffee. I'm feeling better. You ever wake up with that kind of a dry, scratchy throat? All right, what do we want to do first? All right, we'll do Josh's first. Josh left a question for yesterday about hook kicks and kind of a hybrid axe kick hook kick that might come down at a 45-degree angle. you didn't check out that episode, that's the gist. And he follows up with a comment based on something I was trying based on the hook kick discussion from yesterday. The diagonal hook kick done with the heel seems like it would work well against the lead leg thigh of the attacker if following up after blocking or avoiding a punching attack, for example. I found it easier to stay upright and recover faster to follow up the kick with something else, as opposed to the horizontal sweep of a traditional hook kick requiring me to lean back some. The only time I didn't find that to be true was if I had a phone in my pocket, making it hard to flex at the hip. In that case, the traditional hook kick worked better. And I think there's a really important key in there, leaning back. Doing a hook kick high requires a tremendous amount of flexibility. Most people do not have the flexibility to compensate for what they do. In any kick, watch people that do front kicks and they come up, their foot on the ground comes up on the toes. Why? Because their hamstring's too tight. Because they're releasing their hamstrings so they can kick higher. You shouldn't be kicking that high. If you can't keep your foot planted on the ground, you're kicking too high. There's no point. Address your flexibility and then kick higher. Same idea with the hook kick. You're always going to lean back on hook kick. It's just, unless you're kicking very low, just biomechanically, it's all but impossible with the way that the hook needs to travel. But the more you lean back, the less practical it is. And that's an important thing to remember. I still say in terms of a practical situation, there's very little I'm going to do with a hook kick. The only time I'm throwing a hook kick is if I am in some kind of controlled sparring environment, whether it's in a school or competition, and I'm not going to get eaten alive standing sideways. I prefer to stand sideways. That's how I was taught. It's what I do. But there are still some rule sets where nobody's standing sideways. You watch most mixed martial arts, nobody's standing sideways. They've got their feet closer together. They're facing forward. It's just a different way of doing it because of what's expected, because of the rules that are involved. What I love most about what Josh says here is, oh, it didn't work well when my phone was in my pocket. How many of us have visions of how we would defend ourselves and then actually go out and play with stuff in a natural environment? Are you going to be able to pull that off wearing the big, heavy work boots that you wear most of the time? How about the tight jeans that don't let you move well? Or are you going to notice what's going on with the big hood over your head as someone comes in from the side? I'm a fan of training in regular clothes from time to time. Is it traditional? No, but I think you got to identify, how's that going to go? All these comments coming in. Dennis says he's got a scratchy throat most mornings when the weather changes dramatically. And Jenny says, me too. I think I've had that scratchy throat since autumn started. Yeah, I can see that. I'm trying to drink more water. Even more water. So much water. If you guys are in the 12 Months to Health group with the book release that's coming 26th, Black Friday, we're dropping it then. That's the best way to be notified about the book. Maybe Jenny can drop a link in the chat. She's been doing a great job in there. Jenny, I like this. Jenny says, my entire household will not buy clothes they can't do their techniques in. We actually kick and do forms in the dressing rooms. I love it. I'm big with that on my jeans. Most of what I wear pants-wise, if it's not sweatpants, it's jeans. And yeah, can I move? There were times when I was a kid where I had clothes I couldn't do anything in. I would never wear those anymore. I would be really conflicted as a woman because none of what is considered fashionable in most women's clothing is practical. High heels, that's a terrible idea from a self-defense standpoint. But from a professional standpoint, necessary in some contexts. That's in conflict. I don't like that. I'm glad I don't have to worry about that. There we go. I don't know if this is Gabe or Jenny. You could argue training in regular clothes is traditional because that's why we train in a gi. Well said. All right. Oh, Daniel's got a link to the group in there. Thank you. So if you're on Facebook, you can catch that. If you're not on Facebook, you're probably not going to follow the Facebook group anyway. All right, and I like this question from Daniel, so we'll end off with this. If you lived in the Matrix but only had space for 3, which 3 martial arts would you have complete mastery of downloaded into your head? So many ways I could take this. Now, if I've got 3, I would want them to be as versatile as possible. Since my assumption is I'm in the Matrix, in the context of the movie is applicable, I'm thinking about how I'm going to fight agents. How am I fighting these agents? We know that Neo did pretty well with what he had, but it was more because of his interpretation of what he had than what was programmed. I don't see myself grappling with Agent Smith and doing well with that. I want quick, in and out, fast, technique, and then recover. Because remember, you can't kill an agent unless you're Neo. You're just trying to not die. I think it would be... The first thing that I'm thinking of is some kind of, Kali Eskrima, something that does a good job utilizing that movement pattern and sticks and weapons. That would definitely be on the list. This says, that's a great question. Daniel says, how to fight Agent Smith. That would be a fun one. And actually an interesting... Andrew, that one might work. I can't tell you guys more. And Stacy says, next up on how to fight the Matrix, the whole Matrix. The best part about doing a how to fight something with the Matrix episode is we would get to watch the Matrix, because it's a good movie and far better than most of the movies that we've been watching for how to fight. All right, so let's say Kali. We're talking about a lot of close-in stuff. I'm probably saying some variety, some style of kung fu. What would the other one be? I'm thinking about something that's going to be more distance-wise, kicking. Oh, this should have been the first one. Superfoot kickboxing. Why? Because if you watch Bill at his peak, nobody could touch him. Nobody could block him. He had 3 kicks, and you still didn't know which one it was going to be. That one. That's the one that I want. It's the one that I train most now. Daniel says, take the red pill. Jenny says, it's no best of the best. No, it is definitely not. Daniel, I've just picked up tickets to watch The Matrix again on the big screen. My local cinema has been showing classics recently. Oh, that's super cool. Stacy asks, was Wonderland the original Matrix? 1 pill makes you larger and 1 pill makes you small. I think you could make an argument that Alice in Wonderland is kind of precursor to the Matrix. There's a lot of similarities there. And of course, dream state versus coma state, there's not a whole lot of difference there, I think, conceptually. And then you can go watch, what's the Leonardo DiCaprio movie? Inception. You can go watch Inception and then have no idea what's going on. Everybody's going deep on this now. Follow the white rabbit. Well, I think we're good. You have a good day. I hope you will take a look at those quotes, especially that longer Thoreau quote that I didn't quite expound on the way I wanted to. I'm going to spend some time unpacking that for myself, and I hope you'll consider doing the same. What is your relationship to nature, to hiking, or being outside, or plants, depending on where you live? And I hope you'll leave stuff for tomorrow on the Facebook group, because we do it every weekday, 6:30 a.m. US Eastern Time, right here on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, but you can catch it later, of course. And if you want to support us, we've got our Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick. And we've also got the code, first cup 15, to get you 15% off anything at all at whistlekick.com. Thanks for joining me. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Take care.